Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are popping the hood and taking a really fascinating journey into the very engine of artificial intelligence. Our mission here? To take you from being a frustrated, maybe casual AI user and turn you into a master builder. If you've ever typed a question into ChatGPT and just been totally disappointed by what came back, you are in the exact right place. We're going to unlock the hidden mechanics of AI's reasoning engine, and we're doing this by strictly looking at the data, the research, and the proven frameworks from top experts in the field. Let's get started. Right, let's just address the elephant in the room straight away. Why is it that ChatGPT's answers sometimes sound absolutely brilliant and other times just downright terrible? It's a completely universal frustration. You sit down, you're expecting this masterpiece of analysis or creativity, and what you get back sounds like it was written by a really bland corporate intern. Well, here's the thing. The AI knows absolutely nothing about your job, your specific audience, your goals, or your personal communication habits. So when it's left to guess, it simply defaults to the safest, most generic output it possibly can. Think about it like this. Let's compare two approaches. First, you use a vague prompt, something like act as a marketing expert, versus a highly detailed, context-rich prompt where you assign specific years of experience, industry context, and an exact target audience. The research backs this up completely. Vague personas barely shift the needle on output quality. The AI isn't reading your mind, and honestly, it cannot detect whether you're a total beginner or a highly informed tech expert behind that keyboard. So the quality of your prompt is the absolute dictator of your output quality. Period. Which brings us to Section 1. The mechanics of probability. To truly master this, we have to totally shift our mindset. We need to stop treating AI like a simple search engine and start understanding it as a complex reasoning machine. According to research on the PICO framework, these models are stochastic. That basically means there is an inherent degree of randomness in every single output they generate. They also rely really heavily on surface-level semantics, which means even seemingly minor changes in your phrasing or your punctuation can drastically alter the final result. Why? Because the entire point of a prompt is just to increase the likelihood of desired words and decrease the likelihood of unwanted words within the AI's massive probability space. Constraints are what narrow that space. Let's dive into Section 2, Anatomy of Perfect Prompts. So how do we reliably narrow down that probability space so we get exactly what we want? The answer is structure. Professionals actually use a very specific 4-part formula to guarantee highly usable results every single time. It breaks down into role, task, context, and format. You give the AI a role to set the depth, a task with one crystal clear goal, context to provide boundaries, and finally, a format. And guys, here is a massive pro tip. Always specifying an output format, saying you want a table, exactly 5 bullet points, or under 120 words, is the single habit that fixes most weak prompts. It literally turns a vague, meandering answer into something you can use right that second. And this brings us to a seriously revolutionary concept, the context or persona document, which is sometimes called a master prompt. If you've ever wondered if there's a secret prompt out there that just unlocks better results across the board, well, this is it. Instead of typing out your entire life story every single time you open a chat, power users create one single document. It contains their job, their goals, their writing style, and their industry context. You upload that one file into the AI, and suddenly every single response starts at a vastly higher level. It instantly stops sounding generic because you've successfully bounded the AI's probability engine with your exact reality. It's a real game changer. Moving right along to Section 3, High-Impact Prompt Hacks. Okay, now that we have that foundational blueprint, let's look at some very specific, heavily tested techniques that will multiply your workflow efficiency. A really crucial hack is audience specification. Think about it. If you ask an AI to explain a really complex topic, like retrieval augmented generation, but you don't tell it who is actually going to read it, it defaults to writing for no one in particular. But explaining that exact same topic to a C-suite executive requires a radically different depth and vocabulary than explaining it to a junior developer. If you tell the AI exactly who the reader is, you'll watch the output completely transform. Now, you might be wondering, can one extra sentence, or actually scratch that, just 5 simple words, really improve an AI response by 10 times? Yes, absolutely. Those 5 magic words are think step by step. Research shows that adding any instruction that forces the model to show its reasoning before it actually gives you the final answer dramatically improves accuracy on basically anything involving logic, analysis, or multi-step decisions.
Let's look at exactly what that looks like in practice. Imagine you've got a £50,000 marketing budget that you need to allocate. Instead of just asking the AI for a generic plan, you tell it, think step by step. First, analyze the cost per lead, then recommend an allocation, then identify the biggest risk. By walking the AI through these forced, logical steps, you massively boost the quality of complex decisions. It literally stops the AI from just jumping straight to the most probable, boring, generic conclusion.
And that exact logic brings us to our next hack, which is prompt chaining. The sources actually describe this as the single biggest unlock for most people. Think of it kind of like cooking a Michelin star meal. You don't just throw all your ingredients into a single pot at the same time and hope for the best, right? You prep, you layer, you build. You sequence your prompts so that the output of one step perfectly feeds into the instructions for the very next step. This is how you get compound quality instead of overloaded mediocre results. Okay, let's jump into Section 4, the reverse prompting secret. So what if you want to bypass the guesswork of prompting entirely? Well, OpenAI engineers use a brilliant meta hack called reverse prompting. When you just don't know how to frame a really complex task, you literally ask the AI to write the prompt for you. Because the AI model actually understands its own internal processing patterns way better than we humans do, asking it to write its own prompt yields elite-level results. It completely removes that whole mind-reading problem. To put that into perspective, imagine you want to use AI to help you prep for a super difficult salary negotiation with your manager. You can simply tell it, what would be the ideal prompt I should give you to get the most useful coaching? Write the prompt for me, then I'll paste it back to you. This is so incredibly powerful. You can leverage this meta hack in your own daily life right now to get expert-level coaching without needing to be an expert prompter yourself. And now, our final part, Section 5. Systems over secret tricks. Have you ever wondered why professionals actually spend way more time writing and refining their prompts than they do typing answers? It's because true mastery is all about systems. 100. That number right there represents true scale. The people getting the absolute most value from AI aren't just relying on secret tricks every time they log in. They're maintaining a prompt library. We're talking about a reusable archive of their very best interactions, often around 100 heavily refined prompts for the specific tasks they do every single week. So instead of reinventing the wheel every Tuesday, they transform those highly successful moments of clarity into permanent, powerful, and totally reusable systems. And here is where the whole thing culminates. By mastering these exact frameworks, the context documents, the step-by-step reasoning, the chaining, the prompt libraries, you elevate yourself from being a mere AI user to an AI builder. And the best part? Absolutely no coding experience is required. Granular control of language really is the new programming. These prompt engineering systems empower absolute beginners to build workflows and even full-stack agentic AI apps without writing a single line of code. It's incredible. Which leads us to a final, pretty provocative question to leave you with today. Will prompt engineering even still matter as AI becomes agentic and autonomously takes over complex multi-step tasks for us? I mean, if an agent is doing all the planning, do our words still matter? Well, based on everything we've explored today about the mechanics of probability and reasoning, the interface between human intent and machine execution will always be language. The better you can articulate the constraint, the better the engine runs. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep experimenting, keep building, and never stop learning.